The movie opens up with the protagonist Jong Pong-soo, a gangster who is also the director of a rich business empire named Han-ho. He lives a lavish lifestyle with his beautiful wife, Seo Yeon, who is also the daughter of his boss, Mr. Han. Jong actually married her to get his hands on her father's immense property. One day after observing some construction work in his company's building, Jong visits a nearby shop to eat ramen. Opposite of him is an overweight high school boy, Kim Jong-hyun, enjoying his bowl of noodles. Unfortunately, Jong doesn't like the taste of the noodles and decides to pay out immediately. At the same time, Dong receives a call and informs the shop owner that he has to leave and cannot pay as he forgot his wallet. Surprisingly, the owner of the shop lets him leave, telling him that Jong will pay for him out of generosity. To Jong's shock, Dong has finished 4 bowls of noodles. After paying for the food, Jong starts driving home but is stopped midway as a dump truck is blocking the road. On the other hand, Dong can be seen on the edge of a rooftop trying to retrieve his shoe. Suddenly, he slips and falls from the building on top of Jang, who happens to be talking to his colleague right below the same building. The scene then shifts to the hospital where the nurse takes a look at Jong and calls him a kid. He soon regains consciousness and walks out of the hospital room while Dong is still in a coma. Surprisingly, everyone calls him either Kid or Dong. When he walks to the other room, he notices a person similar to him lying on the bed. Suddenly, Dong's father runs into the room and calls him his son. Because of this, a confused Jong immediately runs to the nearest mirror and realizes that his body has actually swapped with Dong's. He tries his best to convince everyone that he is not Dong, but as expected, no one believes him. To make matters worse, the doctor also states that he is suffering from retrograde amnesia. Now, with virtually no way of getting his original body back, Jong is compelled to live as Dong, and he returns home with the high school student's father. The latter prepares a variety of dishes for his son and calls him to enjoy dinner together. At first, Jong is surprised to see the plethora of dishes, but soon he finishes all of them without any leftovers. The following day, Jong attends high school as Dong, where he notices a group of students behaving strangely towards him. During the lunch break, Dong's friend, Hyun, is being bullied by some students. Jong cannot tolerate it and urges them to stop. Unfortunately, this only enrages the leader of the bully group, Tae-wook, who invites Jong to fight after school. As Jong is a gangster, he is not afraid of such fights and calmly meets the group of bullies after school. He then slaps each of them and takes Tae-wook's mobile phone, telling him that he will return it the following day. In the next scene, Jong returns home and goes through Tae-wook's phone. Inside, he finds a video that reveals that Dong was bullied into walking on the edge of the building, which caused him to fall from the height and land on him. The next day, Jong visits the group of bullies and warns them to never trouble another student again. He also blackmails them with the video. Meanwhile, Jong's wife Yeon is having an affair with a younger guy, thinking that her husband is in a coma and will never find out about it. But to her bad luck, she is caught by Jong's rival, Boss Yang, who asks her to help him ruin Jong's career. Having no other choice, Yeon joins Yang and starts preparing for her own husband's downfall. At the same time, Jong visits his assistant Chul, who is actually looking after his boss's body, assuming he's in a coma. Jong tries to make him believe that he is actually his boss, but the latter thinks it's a joke. Jong decides to tell him some secrets that only his boss would know. This trick works, and Chul is now convinced that Jong is in Dong's body. As the two catch up on recent news, Jong also learns that his wife is planning to kill him. The next day, Hyun collides with Jong after school and drops her pink stuffed toy. Jong picks it up, chases after her, and returns it. Right then, Hyun's mother Mi-soon arrives to take her daughter home. As soon as Jong sees Mi-soon, he is shocked because she is the one he dumped to marry Yeon. Jong immediately runs away and wonders if Hyun is his daughter. To clear the confusion, he pulls some hair from Hyun's head in their next meeting and decides to run a DNA test on it. To his utter shock, the DNA reports come out positive, and it becomes evident that Hyun is his biological daughter. After getting this info, Jong becomes sad because he thinks he couldn't be a good father or a caring husband. Frustrated, he meets Chul and asks for suggestions to make his estranged family happy. The assistant suggests he work on his body and lose some fat. Chul also asks his boss to invite Hyun to some fitness sessions. In the next scene, Hyun arrives at the gym and joins Jong for a workout session. At first, she doesn't like the place, but later, Chul, disguised as the trainer, convinces her and brings her back. He then teaches her self-defense, while Jong is working on reducing his body fat. After working hard for a couple of months, Hyun becomes an expert in self-defense, and Jong also turns himself into a handsome boy, surprising everyone in school, even the bullies, with his new looks. During lunchtime, a girl from the group of bullies tries to harass Hyun. But to her surprise, Hyun displays some impressive karate moves and knocks her to the ground. Everyone around is surprised to see such skill and confidence in Hyun. After learning that Dong, aka Jong, has taught her daughter self-defense skills, Mi-soon calls him to her shop and offers him a bowl of ramen as a sign of gratitude. Just then, a perverted customer calls Min-soo to his table and slaps her. This obviously enrages Jong, so he walks to the man and starts beating him. Mi-soon quickly stops him and realizes that his words and actions are similar to that of her ex-boyfriends. Later, Jong sits her down and reveals that he is actually Jong, who has swapped bodies with Dong. At first, Mi-soon refuses to believe him, but when he starts telling her about the times when they were together, she is forced to believe him. Despite this, Mi-soon is still angry at him for leaving her alone when she needed him the most. So, she asks him to never come back again. The next day, while Hyun and Jong are sitting together at school, a student council member, Min-ho, approaches Hyun and invites her to his birthday party. Without thinking twice, she instantly accepts the invitation, unaware of Min-ho's actual intentions. Later, Jong meets Mi-soon at a restaurant and apologizes for his actions. The latter is still angry and decides to leave, but just then, Jong grabs her and kisses her on the lips. This enrages Mi-soon, and she drags Jong out of the restaurant, aiming to take him to the police. Midway, Jong gets a call from Dong's friend, who tells him that Hyun is in deep trouble. He then immediately leaves Mi-soon, contacts Chul, and asks him to send a car for him. In the following scene, Jong arrives at Min-ho's birthday party and notices Hyun being surrounded by a group of boys, and Min-ho pouring a glass of wine on her. Seeing this, Jong approaches the boys and starts fighting them, taking a stand for Hyun. All the girls present there fall for Jong's masculinity, having no idea that he is actually a gangster. Hyun also joins Jong and kicks Min-ho into the pool before walking out from the party. The next day, Chul meets with his boss and informs him that Yeon is actually conspiring with his rival, Mr. Yang. They are now trying their best to remove Jong from the list of potential company heirs. Hearing this, Jong immediately writes a letter to Mr. Han, mentioning that he is a victim of a conspiracy. He then sends Chul to deliver it to his boss. On the other hand, Dong finally wakes up from his coma, oblivious to the fact that he is in a gangster's body. Later, he reaches home and tries to hug his father, Jong Ki. The latter is obviously puzzled and nearly calls the police. But before he can do so, Jong arrives and explains everything to them. Hearing this, Dong agrees to help Jong reunite with Min-soon and makes a plan. The following day, the two arrive at Min-soon's shop and pretend they are back to normal. However, before they can finish their conversation, Mr. Yang and his subordinates arrive there. Jong immediately sends Dong and Mi-soon to the other room and starts fighting all the gangsters alone. But when Mi-soon notices that Jong is outnumbered, she joins the fight and warns the group to leave her shop by causing a leak in the gas cylinder. Afraid, the gangsters flee, and Jong finally reconciles with his ex-girlfriend. Elsewhere, Mr. Han calls Yeon to his office and reveals that he is well aware of her extramarital affair and her conspiracy against her own husband. Hence, to teach her a lesson, he disowns her and removes her from the list of his successors. He then calls Jong and asks him to meet him soon. But as Jong is still in a kid's body, he fits a microchip in Dong's ear and sends him in to attend the meeting. Unfortunately, the microchip soon malfunctions, and when Mr. Han inquires about the second family, Dong has to improvise. He explains that he has finally realized family is the most important thing in the world and wants to spend his remaining life with them. Furthermore, he removes himself from the list of Han-ho's group's successors and wishes to live a happy life. Surprisingly, Mr. Han also respects his decision and lets him walk away. Outside, Jong catches up with Dong and appreciates him for making a sensible decision in his life. As the two embrace each other, Yeon arrives in her car and runs over Jong, injuring him badly. At the hospital, while Jong is talking to Mi-soon and Hyun, Dong falls unconscious on the floor. Soon, Jong is taken into the operating theater and falls unconscious. The scene then fast-forwards 6 months, where Dong is back in his original body at school and is respected and admired by his classmates. Furthermore, Hyun likes him, and it is revealed that the two are actually dating. The movie ends with the scene where Jong is helping Mi-soon run her business, while Chul assists his master in adjusting to his new life.